Hey everyone, welcome back. And if this is your first time here, my name is Alex. In today's episode, I'm going to show you some of the most common mistakes when stretching. So I have picked 5 exercises, a mix of upper body and lower body exercises that you've probably done if you have been stretching for a little while. And I'm going to show you some of the most common mistakes and some things to focus on when doing these exercises to make them most effective for you when stretching. Let's get started. So our first exercise is our Cobra. So you've probably done this one before. So it's this one right here. So a common mistake for us is that people often relax their glutes. So never relax your glutes. We really always want to make sure that our glutes are squeezed just because it protects our backs. From here, I also want to be thinking about lowering my shoulders. So my shoulders are down and back as far as I can. So I'm squeezing my shoulder blades, lifting my chest up, and I also want to be thinking about lifting my head up and back as far as I can. When we're in this position, we also want to be thinking about using all the muscles I have along my spine. So as I'm here, the whole time I'm squeezing as much as I can. We also never want our arms to be bent. So if your arms are bending, just bring them a little bit further forwards. Our second exercise is a hamstring stretch. So it's this one right here. So it seems very nice and simple to do this one, but there's actually many things we can do wrong. So the first thing is that we always want our foot to be pulled back. So if you see it from the side now, if my foot is far forwards, it's not going to stretch my hamstrings as much as if my foot is back. So an easy way to check this is if you stretch and you have a mirror on the side. If you can see both sides of your bum, then your foot is probably too far forward, so then you need to pull it back. Another thing I want to be thinking about, I don't want to be bringing my head down to my knee. I want to be thinking about arching my back, looking up with my head, lifting my chest up, so I try to arch as much as I can here, tilting my hips so I'm lifting my bum up, kind of. Really thinking about bringing our stomach down to our quad, like so, rather than stretching this way. It's not because stretching this way is wrong, it just doesn't stretch your hamstrings that much and stretches your back a little bit more. Our third exercise is our lunge. So it's this one here. So what this exercise does is that it stretches my hip flexors right here. A common mistake is that our foot is too close to our hips, so we end up stretching here. And it's not necessarily wrong, it just doesn't stretch our hip flexors that much. So we want to make sure that our foot is in front of our knee, upper body is lifted, and we're trying not to arch our back. I'm squeezing my glutes rather than arching my back, pushing my hips as far down as I can. Our fourth exercise is a shoulder stretch. So it's this one right here. So you've probably heard teachers say, keep your hips over your knees. It's not wrong to do that, but it actually stretches you less than if you lean a little bit further forwards. So my hips are now in front of my knees. And what this does is that it brings a little bit more weight through your shoulders, so you're able to come a little bit further down into this stretch. So this is the first mistake. Our second mistake is that our shoulders will most likely be opening like this when I stretch. So if you look at me from the ground, my arms are going to be going to the side. And we really want to be preventing that. So I want to be wrapping my shoulders around this way. So I turn my hands so I can wrap my shoulders, and then I'm going to be coming into my stretch. And the reason we want to be doing that is because it separates our shoulder blades on our back, so we have a little bit more space to stretch through our upper back right here. And the last, maybe not mistake, but a tip for me is that when you do this stretch, try to keep your head up. So you want to be trying to keep our head looking up as much as we can. If I need to rest my head, I can be putting my chin down on the ground. So I don't want to be putting my forehead down like this. Just because it takes the weight off our shoulders, and then we don't get as deep into the stretch as we would if we were putting our chin down or if we're keeping the head up. And last but not least, we have our butterfly stretch. So it's this one here. So it's not wrong to have your legs further away from your hips or have them closer. How far your legs are from your hips, it just alternates a little bit where this stretches. So regardless of you having your feet far forwards or having them close, there are a few things we want to be focusing on. So the first thing is I want to be thinking about arching my back. So I don't want to round my back. So I want to be arching my back just like I did in that hamstring stretch. I'm then going to be holding onto my feet. If I can lean forwards, I'm going to be leaning forwards with a straight back. My elbows come onto my knees, and I'm pushing my knees down as I lean forwards. So if I round my back, it just takes a little bit of the stretch off. So I want to be arching, trying to bring my chest as far forwards, bringing my stomach down to my feet. Regardless of you being here or being all the way in, we always want to make sure that we're arching. So this was all I had for us today. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope it helped you. I remember when I started stretching, I didn't know all these things, and it's really, really useful to know it and useful to apply it to your stretching routine, just so you can make your stretches more efficient for you, so you get most out of your time. If you have any questions or any tips for me or anything you want me to cover, leave a comment or message me on Instagram. Have a nice day.